Alrighty. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to Startup TNT. This is our Thursday night tradition where we get together to support and learn about and celebrate the folks that are in our community, what they've been up to. This week, I took a peek in the Edmonton Startup Community Slack channel to see what's been going on. I didn't have to look very far to see some of the really interesting stuff that some folks here are doing. We've got a pretty wide range tonight. We've got everything from a recently launched beta test, brand new company, new venture that I'm very excited to learn more about. We've got someone who's very experienced in our startup community coming back to say hi, and a company who ended up raising money at the first ever TNT Summit all the way back last year. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I had a little angel sorry, got distracted in the side of my ear. If you can't tell, let me take a breath. This is my first time hosting the TNT Pitch Night, as you can tell. Spent a lot of time behind the scenes. Zach makes it look easy. But sometimes I can get the best of you. So here I am. Thanks for bearing with me. We usually don't like to spend too much time talking about the pitchers anyways. We're all here just listening to them. So why don't we dive straight into that? First up, we have Peter.
Brandon, before we go in, I want to say something. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to be Zach Storms and interrupt. Amazing job introducing us, Brandon. Awesome. First introduction. Now we're talking. New chief organizer from Edmonton. Awesome, Brandon. And
nice.
Did you know one really important thing I want to mention? This is 52 weeks of virtual Startup TNT. Holy cow. That's amazing. I mean, the pandemic's not amazing, but the fact we've been doing this consistently for 52 weeks is pretty amazing. So I just want to throw that in there. All right, Brandon, introduce our first speaker. Who we got?
Great. Yeah, that's a really cool story, Zach. That it was a year ago that you guys just dove into sending this whole thing virtual and haven't stopped ever since. So that's awesome. But yes, let's dive in. Peter, you're up first. You're here to tell us about your app Fuss, which you've been developing, I presume, in your spare time for the past couple of years. And you shared with us in January that you've launched a beta test. It's a to-do app that draws on productivity and organizational psychology, which is something that I can really geek out over. So you and I will probably have a conversation about it in the happy hour that follows this right after this, but why don't you take it away?
Absolutely. Thanks, Brandon. I'm just going to share here. All right. So my name is Peter. I'm a software developer by trade. I've been doing it for about 10 years. And this is my app Fuss. I call it a productivity tool. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So I heard this quote early in my career, and to me, it's sort of the definition of productivity. It means, you want to work smarter, not harder. The more you do to automate and get things done easier and faster, the more work there will be for you. It seems counterintuitive, but in today's society, it's the principle. It's behind DevOps and automation. This is, to me, what productivity is. So to-do lists today are in the business of helping you maintain a list of things to do. But Fuss is in the business of helping you get them done. So Fuss's main objective is to supply people with the tools it takes to get things done. I founded it on principles of and best practices coming from organizational psychology. I want Fuss to get out of your way, let you get things done so you can stop worrying, stop procrastinating, and start being fussy. So I'll be honest. I didn't really know how to go about this. These quotes kind of drove me, while I was writing Fuss. And so with this venture capital pitch, I went to go put together, what it was. And I looked up, research. I said, okay, why would someone use your application over the competition? In Business 101, what's your market differentiator? What sets you apart? But instead, I want to go and I want to explore something a bit different. I want to explore why someone would stop using the competition. So why did I quit using to-do apps? So I'm bad at prioritizing. I'm very emotional. Flashy new thing, project comes up. I love to jump right on it, forgetting all other things, picking the task right now over the right task. I'm also easily overwhelmed. What did I say I would do today? When I write all the tasks I have to do down, it's extremely overwhelming. I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's this website, Reddit. It's a brilliant waste of time. If you're looking for a good way to waste time, I use it all the time to avoid things that I have to do. I also suck at estimating. So just 5 more minutes, rinse and repeat. We go on and on. I'm also not alone. So this choosing the most current thing, it's called the recency bias. It's a cognitive bias where you put focus on the most recent, not the most important. So FUS is shaped around the best prioritization model, in my opinion, the impact effort model. So it lets you pick the low-hanging fruit first and forget the stuff that doesn't matter. I'm easily overwhelmed. It's called overchoice. We're faced with 1,010 things we need, 1,010 choices we need to make in a day. Where do we eat? What show do we stream on Netflix? What to-do app do we use? The last thing you need to do is choose what to do next. So FUS hides away the tasks that you don't need to worry about. Because we have this built-in prioritization, can hide away and limit the choice that you have for things to work on. I love to procrastinate. It's aptly called the procrastination bias. Our minds are wired to place higher value on immediate rewards. So naturally we chase the easiest, most rewarding things. Unfortunately, that's often not work. So FUS shows you only the easiest, highest reward tasks first, so you can create movement step by step, task by task. I suck at estimating. This is called the planning fallacy. We overestimate our abilities and underestimate the real time something takes. So FUS gives you insights into your work habits, when you're most productive, how your projects break down, and how long an easy task takes you. So where we're at today, it's live and active, it's beta, still pre-revenue. It's got a built-in freemium model. So 1 project free and then $2 US monthly for unlimited, which takes about 40 plus subscribers to break even for hosting and things like that. The roadmap. So right now FUS has the ability to, with the built-in prioritization model, track tasks and group them under projects. We've also got built-in time tracking. That will be done with enhanced time insights, showing you how long things take in Q1. Then procrastination notification, shared projects, deep learning patterns and insights for 2022. Yeah, so I'm not right now looking for monetary investment, but I am looking heavily for feedback and advice, as well as lessons learned from any veterans out there, UX and design advice as well. Thank you for everyone. I think I went a little over. I wasn't looking at the time.
Peter, it doesn't matter. This is a relaxed community pitch night. I'm not enforcing any rules tonight. It's 52-week anniversary. Anything goes. Also, this pitch feels almost like a plant by Brandon to let me know how bad I am at prioritizing my tasks. It's almost like you guys.
Oh, there's a tool here.
He knew I was going to say to you, I'm going to sign up. Are you ready to sign up? I'm ready to pay $2 a month. I'm all in on this thing. I totally connected with everything you said. I want to start doing it. I am terrible at prioritization. I suffer from all the problems you just mentioned.
Don't we all? Gotta build something.
Really enjoyed the pitch. Really enjoyed the presentation. Great work.
Thank you.
So are all those features currently available? That's my only question. Are all the features currently available?
The only thing that's not there is the time insights. So like basically how long easy tasks supposedly take and things like that. But there is basic insights, ability to create tasks, manage them under projects. It will filter that list for you based on the prioritization, only show you what you want to see, notify you via email when things are coming due.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's ready to sign up, I'm ready to sign up like next week. Send me an email. I'm in. I'm serious.
Absolutely.
I'll ask my team at next Thursday if they thought that I've improved. All right. Brandon, who we got next?
Next up, we're welcoming both Ali and Shannon, who, despite having met just both of them tonight myself, we have a connection that goes kind of back a few years. We all used to work, or still do work, at PCL Construction. I spent a few years working on site there, but we never crossed paths. I think you folks were working on a different site, but now you're starting a new venture called Unbounded Thinking, which, as I understand, has just graduated from Startup Edmonton's Preflight 2. So why don't you guys take it away and tell us some more about it?
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. I don't know how to start my video, but if you can get that going.
Sure, we'll bring you back.
Okay, there we go. All right, how's it go? Is that good? All right. You ready to go, Shannon?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, hi everyone. So we're excited to be talking to you all about our business, Unbounded Thinking. Our company is focused on unleashing human ingenuity through embracing uncertainty and simplifying complexity. We see time and time again that people tend to approach problems without having the right framework or mental model to come up with the right solutions. We're tackling this problem by creating a personalized experience to create new mental models for solving problems. So to support our view on creating a personalized experience, this is who we are. I'm Ali, also known as Farmer. My education is in environmental engineering and my expertise in growing new ideas into executable solutions.
And hello, everyone. I'm Shannon, obviously, the explorer of new ideas, apparently. But my education outside of PCL is in biomedical science. So when we started this idea of starting a company around thinking, it never really presented itself as just one service, but we knew we really needed to focus on building a community first, before we could even think about trying to start exploring that vision around what Ali said there around human ingenuity. A quick way to explain how we're approaching this through, I think, an example that most of us have heard of or maybe even been part of, where someone takes out a big loan to go start their startup. They fail fast, which is good, but they fail miserably. They fall into that depression kind of state, and then the stress levels just go through the roof. Now, you look at that from the perspective of the bank. They're saying, hey, where's our money? The psychologist is saying, hey, you got to get those serotonin levels up. And then the doctor's saying, how do we help you reduce that stress? Now, in isolation, that all works fine. It's what we're used to. Everyone looks at the world differently. And so that, that's the way it should be. But what would actually happen if you got all those people in a room and looking at different solutions? Would they come out differently? And I think the answer is obvious for that. So our community build solution is through our own take on a hackathon, which I think everyone's heard of. The only difference is instead of a bunch of sweaty developers, I know there's some listening, it's more of a bunch of sweaty thinkers. And then that becomes that holistic and somewhat lean approach to solving problems that relies on people's different personalities, the mental models, and the different experiences through life.
Yeah, so in its simplest form, the thinkathon concept includes people submit some problems, whether they're personal, social, or organizational, and then we take it, organize a team of people to come together and solve that problem. And for our problem solvers, we're tapping into gamification aspects such as creating unbounded profiles like our farmer and explorer personalities, and identifying problem-solving elements for one to achieve mastery in unbounded thinking. We're developing this thinkathon concept as we speak and looking to test it out by the end of March. So what do we need help on? It's twofold. We're looking for people to come and think with us and test out our idea. And secondly, we're kind of pulling from your experiences. How do we best build our community? Who should we be talking to? And so to wrap it up, we know that solving problems in a thinkathon environment is fun and appealing, but we're aware of the reality of trying to implement new ideas is also a huge need. So with that in mind, we also have other services that complement the thinkathon to help people move their great ideas into executable solutions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Allie and Shannon. Tell us a little bit more about how the Thinkathon's actually going to work. What's the format? How many people? How's that going to work?
Go, Shannon.
I think the best answer, not to drag it out, but that's what we want to go test in the next few weeks, right? You got to find that balance between making it worthwhile for people, but also, not drag it on so it's this complex process. So, we're looking at, let's say, prototyping that and how we could get a bunch of people, hopefully from this community, to maybe test out for an hour or a 3-hour session, and then work our way up to should we do these over a period of weeks? So yeah, the best answer I can give you, Zach, is that we got to test the hell out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think, and we're thinking like 6 people minimum kind of thing.
6 people minimum. The first one, it looked like it was going to be on localizing your food, right? Is that what I saw?
That's an example. Yeah.
Oh, that was an example.
Yeah.
That's, okay. Are you taking ideas for what to do as your first Thinkathon? That was just one
Yes.
Example. Okay.
Yes, we are.
You only gave us 3 minutes, so we only just put a quick little mock-up of the webpage on there. So yeah.
And what kind of action are you hoping comes from the Thinkathon?
Ali, you want to go first?
Well, I think there's a number of things. I think that those that submit their problems or they have an issue, I mean, it hopefully jumpstarts them into moving it forward into something that's practical and can be moved forward with quickly. And then the other thing is that, we really want to build people up and build their competency around, real critical thinking, diverse thinking, and really recognizing, their own strengths within themselves to look through comprehensive solutions.
So it could be a very personalized discussion where, like, I say, I have this problem, I'd like to participate in a Thinkathon, where this group of people work with me to come up with like things I can approach. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it could be a personal relationship thing. It could be a social, societal thing. It could be something within your organization.
Okay, are you guys staying around for the happy hour after?
Yep.
Okay, good, because I'm going to talk to you a lot more about thinking, which I do too much of. But I think in the interest of time, we should move on to our next speaker, which I think this is a really interesting transition you scheduled for us, Brandon. We're going from graduates of Preflight 2 at Startup Edmonton to the former executive director of Startup Edmonton. Is that the lineup we put in our schedule here today?
Absolutely. Great job, Ali and Shannon. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. This is Aatif. Who I'm very happy to have here with us today. I feel like we've had a bit of a misconnection. You were kind of just on your way out as I was on my way in. So we haven't actually got to know each other as well as I would have liked. But the next step for you has been starting up your own startup, a philanthropic startup called the Northpine Foundation, which I think a lot of folks are very eager to find out more about. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon. And incidentally enough, thanks to COVID, I'm still in Edmonton. It actually delayed my move out to Toronto. So what I want people to do is imagine the over 20,000 people leaving prison each year who end up back in prison within 2 years. The 50,000 talented refugees who arrive in Canada within the past 5 years who are lucky to get stuck in survival jobs. The 65,000 foster kids across Canada with the over 10,000 awaiting that birthday when they age out of the system with no clear path ahead. And the kid in rural Labrador, unsure of what the future holds for her and if she have to leave her hometown forever to build her life. When you see these people, think of all the opportunities present. Think of the value they all offer Canada. The groups who have mobilized for a voice, the ones who amplify that voice, and the ones who serve the needs to make for impactful change. So how do we enhance that? How can we invest to untap the blue ocean of human thriving in Canada? So the Northpine Foundation is a startup philanthropic organization with big dreams of serving Canada. And we focus on two sides of impact. We deeply listen to the people we aim to serve and rigorously invest in solutions based on those insights. We think by doing this, we can open the over $300 million opportunity of meaningful work for refugees in Canada, the over $1 billion opportunity of former prisoners succeeding in life, and the many other opportunities based off of people thriving. But we also know that human-centered design is just one side of the problem. We also look to develop the ecosystem that enables such solutions to be impactful beyond the initiatives. We aim to invest in analytics, learning, and translation to drive systemic impact through whatever means necessary, whether it's policy, legislation, markets, or social change. We focus on population outcomes, not sectors. So for example, we're not specifically looking at education, health, employment, but rather we choose populations, and to make it manageable, those of less than 100,000 people across Canada. That allows us to be solution agnostic, giving us the agility to invest in whatever critical needs of interest the problem demands. But dollars and cents aside, we're about human thriving based off of being seen and heard. So that's what we aim to build. We believe active listening is not relying on the whims of good intentions, but structuring the people in such a way that we are accountable to them and they have power in decision making. We work closely with those already doing amazing work and try to fill the gap areas for any unmet or underserved opportunity areas. So 3 to 4 years from now, we get a sense of what's working, what's not working with the population level, with a willingness to fail on what doesn't work and boost what does. So we basically aim to help add fuel to the movement of the thriving of foster children, former prisoners, refugee newcomers all across Canada, and specifically rural poverty in Newfoundland and Labrador. So I'm 2 months in and landing on the strategy to get moving quickly and thoughtfully. Currently, I'm hiring an operations lead who will be employee number 2. And next week, I start searching for senior leadership roles in those 5 focus areas of foster children, former prisoners, refugee newcomers, rural poverty in Newfoundland, Labrador, and these special initiatives, which I call the serendipity pot of really compelling cases that we want to invest in that might not fit in those previous 4. So if you know leaders of lived experience or people who are deeply entrenched in these communities, I would love to get in contact with them. Thanks so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Aatif, cool transition from Startup Edmonton to Northpine Foundation, launching your own startup in the not-for-profit sector. Hey, you know who else is doing that, Aatif? Zach Storms, full-time at Startup TNT. But it sounds, are you a registered charity at Northpine or just a not-for-profit?
Yeah, so fortunately, we're a registered charity and we already have a significant amount of backing behind us that allows us to be one of the most giving philanthropic foundations in Canada annually.
Yeah. And I think one of the key take-homes I heard from your talk, which was honestly like a really good presentation. Nice job, Aatif. Caught my attention, made me think about the wasted human resources that we have in our province, in our country, I should say, in our world. You know, that could be adding such more value to society. And like you said it best yourself. So my question is, are you guys actively working on initiatives, or are you funding initiatives that other groups are working on? Will you be a funder?
Yeah, so right now we're structured to fund initiatives. And then maybe in the future, if we identify gap areas, we might go into working on those specifically ourselves. But right now it's purely funding.
Okay. And do you fund initiatives taking place anywhere in Canada? Like, let's say there was some cool initiatives here in Edmonton.
Yeah, so I actually have a data science team working for me right now to help me map out all of Canada, where all these people are, who's working on this stuff. And yeah, we're looking to fund across Canada. Right now, the big thing on my mind is COVID emergency relief for these populations. Okay.
Can you give us a sense of what your funding budget will be, or is that confidential at this time?
In a bit, when I land on the strategy of business.
All right, we have to invite you back to learn more.
Yeah. But that being said, we're very fortunate to kind of have quite a bit of funding to support these initiatives. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Great to have you. Great to learn about the new trajectory that you're on, launching, spearheading a new not-for-profit. So very, very cool. And I think now it's time for our final speaker, who Brandon gave me the honors of introducing because it is one of our alumni from our very first Startup TNT Investment Summit that we had back in February. It's Anthea Sargent, founder and CEO of 2S Water, who to this day, I still remember as giving one of the most electrifying pitches I've ever seen in my life, just like blew my mind. Raised some money at the summit, and here we are a year later, just closed your first big purchase order. So cool. So this is kind of a celebration for Anthea. So yeah, I just let's hand it over to you, Anthea. You share with us a little bit the story of 2S Water and what's happened over the last year.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year, although stressful. I'm sure everyone can agree. When did I do my last update, Zach? It wasn't that long ago that I came and updated you guys.
Actually, we should mention this. It was only in November, so like maybe 3 months ago, and you were doing, I think you had launched your first field test at that time. You were like, I have a product in the field. Now you have a purchase order. So
it was eternity ago. November was like 100 years ago. So much has changed since then. It's been really phenomenal. So we got the TNT money. Oh, geez, probably almost a year ago now, since we've been doing this a year of this online. Kudos on that, by the way, Zach. And we continued to develop and crossed our fingers and hoped that by the time we had finished our development, that the market would be there for us and would have recovered from COVID. And I think we were pretty lucky on that because things did come around. So in December, we landed some grant funding that we had applied for all the way back in March. So we landed some specific COVID-based funding, which was great. It actually enabled us to push forward with a bit more speed. In December was also when we met our first client. I wish I could say who it was, but for legal purposes, I cannot announce that publicly. If you'd like to know, shoot me an email. I'm super happy to talk to specific people about it. I just legally can't say it live on the internet. But we met our first client. We closed that first PO in 72 days. From the day we met them, and Christmas was in that gap, which really shows two things, we think. One is, how much this is really, really needed by our target market, and how important it is to find that classic innovator, that real crossing the chasm type who just loves new technology and wants to adopt it, because that's what we found. And since signing that PO, things have really picked up for us. So we are currently building that unit out. It does present a few unexpected challenges. Our first appointment will be in Colorado at a legacy mine. So that means a mine that is no longer active, but they still have to monitor the water going out of it. They have an ongoing legal obligation. But because it's in Colorado, I can't be there. We can't send somebody down realistically. So we had to fully automate our installation process as well. So we are doing a little bit of scrambling to make sure everything's ready. The amount of things that you have to do in between your MVP and your first commercial deployment, they're more than you think they're going to be. Having said that, it's so much fun right now. We've got a really inspired team. We've got a great goal to work towards. And once we landed that first PO, things started to really pick up on the sales side. We expect our second PO for 2 units. We verbally reached an agreement on that. We'll be expecting it in March. We expect to be shipping our 4th product in August to Bolivia, to a large client who might have a large pipeline of sales for us once we've completed that initial pilot. And because I am feeling overwhelmed and like this is a lot of sales, we've had new leads coming in every day this week for units. Because it turns out the best thing you can do is just not want sales to come in, and then they will come flooding into you. So we're expecting the goal right now is to book 10 more units for September through December. By the end of December, we expect to have done all the small incremental design changes that we'll have to do in between MVP and our finalized commercial design. And the plan is to hit big scale in January. So we are doing a little fundraise now. We're going out and securing the last of the seed capital that we'll need to do. We paused everything in November when we secured that grant funding. We're in a much better position to raise now. We expect to get a better valuation now that we have what will be signed POs for 3 units by the end of the month here. And away we go. So very exciting. We're doing lots of fun stuff, setting up our manufacturing space, getting all the final details sorted out. So
that's awesome, Anthea. I'm really excited to hear that. It's always great to see. It's always great to see sales coming in unexpectedly. That's when you know, like, you're kind of hitting product market fit. The sales just start pouring in. Remind everybody, because not everyone's that familiar with the technology. Remind what your technology is.
Sorry, Zach. I didn't even do the base intro to who we are. So we are 2S Water. We have developed a sensor that sees metals in water in real time. I know that sounds really niche. It's actually not. We were very much inspired by things like Flint, Michigan, where people have insecure water for municipalities. We found our home in mining, where metals in water is a huge, huge issue, and corporate social responsibility is becoming a massive, massive issue for these companies. So that's where we really found, as Zach says, that product market fit, and we're starting to get that real traction, which is super exciting. So.
That is amazing, Anthea. I want to ask you a bunch of questions, but they might not be ones you want to answer publicly. So, because I'm just like, how much money are you making from each one of these sales? Oh my God, what's the sales pipeline look like? But that's so exciting, Anthea. We're so happy to hear this at Startup TNT. I'm sure all the investors are very happy to hear this as well. So Anthea's our last speaker. I think everybody's gonna be able to join our happy hour for a little while. I hope those of you tuning in from YouTube Live can join as well. I want to give a quick shout out. Anthea is a clean technology company helping to clean up our water systems. We have an entire investment summit happening next week dedicated to clean tech entrepreneurs. I encourage everyone to join us for it. It's happening March 11th. It'll kick off at 3 o'clock. Investments announced at 6 o'clock. We're doing it in partnership with Anthea, the Alberta Clean Technology Industry Alliance, the Energy Futures Lab, and Foresight, the Clean Tech Accelerator. So really great partners. Really great to have everyone here today. Brandon, do you have any parting words for us as the first time officially hosting Startup TNT? What words of wisdom do you want to leave us with?
Nothing I can say can top what these folks have brought to us today. I think really fantastic job, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Zach, you got our plug in for the Clean Tech Summit happening next week. That's going to be awesome. We look forward to that. Please come hang out at our happy hour. Everybody on the call here is going to be hanging out there. It's absolutely the best place to come. Tell them what an awesome job they did, ask them your questions, and just have a genuine all-around good Thursday night. So I'll make sure to drop the link in the YouTube comments. If you haven't been there before, it looks just like Slack. Find the channel that says intro. Zach, myself, Tim, somebody friendly will be there, and we'll get you sorted. But yeah, thanks for coming out, and see you in a minute.
Don't forget to have fun, make friends, build company together, always.